Welcome back to This Day in Irish History. I'm your host, Raymond Welsh. Before we begin, if you'd like to explore other significant events in Irish history, visit thisdayirishhistory.com. The link is in the episode description. Now, let's turn back to February 23rd, 1943, when a devastating fire at St. Joseph's Orphanage in Cavan claimed the lives of 35 girls and one cook, one of the most tragic events in Ireland's modern history. St. Joseph's Orphanage, run by the Sisters of the Poor Clare Order, was home to dozens of young girls, many of whom were placed there by families unable to care for them during the hardships of wartime Ireland. The orphanage was part of a larger convent complex and, like many institutions of its time, was subject to strict religious discipline and routines. It was in this environment that disaster struck on a cold February night. The fire is believed to have started around 2 o'clock a.m. in a basement laundry room, possibly due to an electrical fault or a faulty chimney. Given the wooden interior and the lack of modern fire safety measures, the flames spread rapidly, quickly consuming the staircases and blocking escape routes. The orphanage's residents, mostly young girls aged 4 to 18, found themselves trapped as smoke and flames engulfed the building. Local firefighters and townspeople rushed to the scene, desperately trying to help. However, their efforts were hindered by multiple factors. Strict religious rules meant that the nuns hesitated to allow male firefighters into the dormitories, where the girls were sleeping. There are reports that some of the older girls, instructed in obedience, were reluctant to flee without explicit permission. These tragic delays contributed to the high death toll. The fire department, with limited resources, struggled to control the blaze. Ladders were too short to reach the top floors, and by the time access was gained, the fire had already claimed its victims. The bodies of the girls were later found, huddled together, some in an attempt to escape through locked windows, and others in rooms filled with smoke. The cook, who was believed to have been trying to save the children, also perished in the flames. In the aftermath, public shock and outrage spread across Ireland. The fire raised serious concerns about the safety of religious-run institutions, where strict discipline sometimes took precedence over emergency response measures. Questions were also asked about the fire safety regulations of such buildings, as well as the delayed reaction in evacuating the children. A tribunal of inquiry was held in the weeks following the disaster, but no individuals or organizations were held criminally responsible. While some improvements to fire safety in institutions followed, it would take many more years before regulations and oversight truly reflected the lessons of the Cavan tragedy. The fire remains one of Ireland's darkest moments, a reminder of the vulnerabilities of those placed in institutional care and the critical need for prioritizing safety over rigid rules. A memorial now stands in Cavan, honoring the lives lost in the tragedy. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Ireland's history. Please like and subscribe, and until next time, I'm Raymond Welsh. Slán go Foil.